Welcome back to another tropical outlook and discussion for today, September 17th. As yes, we have finally made it through the first peak, but I'm gonna give you guys a very updated version today of the tropics, as I think that the backloaded season might be a lot more than what people expected. I know our forecast, and yes, our the Atlantic has honestly not bust. I wouldn't say bust, because we have to look at why people think it's a bust, but in reality it really hasn't been a bust of a season. Yes, we're not getting the crazy amount of names, but we're getting quantity out of these storms, and we're getting a lot of ace with them. So this is the latest look of the National Hurricane Center, and yes, we do have a new area here, one now in the Northern Caribbean, as that is going to be the big talk today. But I'm not even going to discuss this only, alright? Yes, I'm going to discuss this Caribbean system, and basically they say an area of low pressure could form this weekend over the Western Caribbean. Therefore, some slow development of the system is possible through early next week. Yes, they have a 20% in the next, once again, 7 days, but this is not the only system. As you can tell over here, this is the same thing. This is the remnants of Gordon. They are already putting out a 6. Wow, that went up crazy. They put a 60 and 30. They're already going up pretty crazy on this. This is going to be the redevelopment of Gordon. Disorganized showers and thunderstorms in the central tropical Atlantic associated with remnants of Gordon. This disturbance is forecasted to interact with a non-tropical low while it moves north 5 to 10 miles an hour in the next couple of days. Environmental conditions could become more conducive for development later this week. A tropical depression or storm could reform in a few days while the system moves slowly northward. So that's why this percentage have gone up crazy. But we're not only watching those two, we are potentially watching 1 or 2 waves out in the MDR here. I know we haven't really talked about the main development region, but I'm going to try and discuss a little bit more deeper into that area and not just the Caribbean with a short amount of time with the video. So let's take a look at ocean heat content. And this is a huge thing I want to take off at my chest here, is how much ocean heat content there is really, first off, where this area is tagged, it is in actually the best ocean heat content yet. I have never, in my opinion, seen the ocean heat content through the roof like this in the Northern Caribbean. And yes, there has been years where we saw that in like 2020, but if I show you guys some of the anomalies, the Caribbean's actually at its highest it's ever been with ocean heat content as a new record in the Caribbean. So that this explains, and it's not just this one little area, it's the entire northern Caribbean, even parts of south of Jamaica, southwestern, and even the Dominican area now. This is very interesting, getting close to Puerto Rico with this OHC. So this is extremely concerning, as we got a tropical potential wave that's going to have a lot of favorability coming out of the Central American gyre that could enter into the Gulf of Mexico. And look at this. This is that loop current. Yes, maybe not that 175, but we're still looking at that 150, 160. And this is just very concerning, even in the northern Atlantic area, just a lot of ocean heat content. And this is just going to really help the interference. Another thing we are taking a look at is actually the MJO, as we're going to be heading into finally a favorable period of the MJO. We've been in the maritime continental MJO here, but we are going to we are about here in phases 6. We're about to be heading right into phases 7, 8, and 1 here. This is that potential where we could really be heading into a bit of this favorability, and depending how far this goes out could really help. And some of the indications, if you have seen some other people, they've been talking about this, it looks like this is going to be the most favorable over the Caribbean. And this is a bit concerning because if we take a look here, I'm gonna quickly pop up a map here, and this is it right here. This is not exactly the map, but this is a bit more better. This is that 27. This is when this potential storm can happen. And look at this. This is that MJO, and the most MJO is in that Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico. This is through October 2nd, October 7th, the 12th, even the 17th, and up to October 22. So this is a bit concerning that the MJO could be actually very long in there. And then once we head into later October, you can tell maybe a little bit more of that unfavorable but still favorable. So we could be having a pretty busy Central American gyre type back season, and that's a little bit concerning because we take a look at I would love to take a look at something here. I never pop it up. Is the 2024 Atlantic hurricane names so far and tracks. I just want to see if there's a map yet for these tracks because I want to get something straight, but I might not be able to. And actually, this does work. So, this is... Okay. So that was actually Debbie. I didn't even realize. That was Debbie, wow. So, this is that bit of a thing here. This is actually, so far, this is pretty unique. So, once again, we had Beryl. But one thing I would like to take you guys a look. I know we are going to be watching this storm go out to sea over here. This is going to be Gordon. But take a look where the new area development is. It's in here. This is once again very close to home. All of the systems beside Gordon has made impact. Like Debbie, Francine, Beryl, Chris, another name here that made landfall. All these have made impacts. And even this storm right here. That was Alberto. But look, all these storms have made impacts. And this new system could be a system that develops, becomes a hurricane, and becomes a major hurricane somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico coast, and then ride it up. So that's just going to fill in that area more. And I do think we could get a few more names out here. But I think we're about to get loaded with many storms out of the Central American gyre. So that is most likely a possibility. And I know I said I want to make this short and simple, but I just want to show you guys that yes, it hasn't been that much, but all these storms have made impact. That is the main thing I want to take out of this. So now I'm going to take a look at the GFS in the North Atlantic. I'm not even just going to focus, and we're only going to go 240 hours out, maybe a bit more. Just take it with a grain of salt after even 5 days, honestly. But we take a look in the next, let's do 3 days. There is Gordon, becomes a pretty powerful tropical storm again, regenerates. We are getting more moisture in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean here. Yeah, so the Caribbean's gaining more moisture. We are seeing the MDR gaining some moisture. We see a coastal low off the east coast. That could maybe bring some showers and rain, maybe some clouds, some wind. But there's leftover Gordon. And we take this honesty out, and Gordon actually becomes a hurricane again on the GFS, becomes a potential Category 2 hurricane, and then moves out. But look at that. The Central American gyre actually has a seedling. and it does get going 162 hours out, maybe 144 hours out. That's only 5 days out, you guys. So that's why the National Hurricane Center is putting that there. This does become a tropical storm and then a hurricane making landfall somewhere in Florida. But then you can see another area of low comes off the main development region. This has been showing as a tropical storm or hurricane in the last few runs. And even the latest, I know this is a little bit further out, but you can see another system behind this one. And that does become another hurricane. So maybe 1-2 more storms out of the main development region before the end of this month. That could help to rank up a little bit, ace points, and get a few more names. But then you can tell a Central American gyre storm goes into the Gulf. But this is very uncertain because we are going to take a look at 12Z, 6Z, and 0Z and just see all the comparison. Because this was last run, yes, it had a hurricane a little bit more stronger, and this does become a Category 2 hurricane making landfall in Florida too. So kind of same position, but this storm does become a hurricane, and we are watching on the 12Z a potential tropical system there. But you can tell this one rises to the East Coast, becomes a full out nor'easter. And yeah, major issues if that's gonna happen. This is still very uncertain as of this time, but that is just this run. That one becomes a hurricane. This one becomes tropical storm. But you get what I'm saying. We are seeing signs of some development back with Gordon, the Caribbean storm potentially, and 1 or 2 systems in the main development region. So if you guys are looking at the title and the front of it, that is why I'm doing that. If we looked at the 6Z today, pretty interesting going further out. Just take this all with a grain of salt. It's just been showing, and I really want to show you guys. So there it is. One thing I do notice, Gordon does become a little bit more stronger in the latest runs than the morning runs. There's that Central American gyre. This becomes a full-out hurricane, making landfall in Cuba, and then becomes a major Cat 4 hurricane barreling down on the panhandle of Florida. So yes, there is still uncertainty. We still got a few more days out. But yes, the Central American gyre storm has been showing. And one thing that's a little bit weird is we don't really see anything besides a tropical storm in the 6Z and then one after. And then you can tell the Central American gyre on the 6Z actually continues. So that's just a little bit unique from the 6Z to the 18Z of the differences. But then if we take a look at the 0Z here, we see that Central American gyre. I mean, you see a major hurricane before even hitting Cuba. And then this stays as a Category 4 making landfall right where Ian area did. And that goes up the East Coast as a bomb storm, Cat 3 subtropical nor'easter. And then you can tell we see a low develop off the main development region, and then that becomes maybe a Category 2, and then the Central American gyre continues. So basically what I can say today is we are seeing some signs off the GFS, and we are going to have to really watch. One thing we have found out today is Central American gyre storm has picked up in chances of happening. One model that's been having it forever is the Canadian. The Canadian's been showing it to develop in the Northern Caribbean, become a hurricane right before making a landfall or just going past Cuba. Goes in the Gulf, strengthens very rapidly, becomes potentially Cat 2, Cat 3, going into Florida, combining with the cold front, and becoming a supercharged low up the whole entire East Coast area with rain and winds. And that will be a huge, but if we do the same thing here with the Canadian, go out 24 hours ago, because this doesn't update like the 18Z, it had this storm too hitting Florida. So the Canadian's been having this for, I will say, probably 2 days now. If we look, this is 2 days ago, and I actually had this storm. So this has been showing for the last 2 days on the Canadian. Let's go out 3 days. Let's just go out 3 days. And it even had the system here too. So it's 3 days out. Let's go even 4 days out. I don't know. It might be a little too far. And no, it did show something here. So it's been showing for the last 4 days with the Canadian. GF has been showing for like the last day and a half. Icon not really. It hasn't really been. Just the Central American gyre. The European hasn't really been. One run of the 0Z did show that, but nothing too much now. But if we take a look at the ensembles for these systems, because I know this is a very important thing to talk about, and let's just take it to the GEFS and then the European ensembles. We do see, let's just go out 300, why not? Maybe I'll go a little bit more shorter. Wow. So, yeah, we see a lot here. Okay. Let's go to 240. Let's just go back a bit. And let's just see where we are currently. One thing I will say is we are noticing, yes, another out to sea potential storm over here in the MDR. This could become a tropical storm, or, once again, maybe a hurricane. This could be the I name storm. Maybe this becomes Helene. I do think this will become Helene over here. This will be the I name storm. So maybe this year we might finally break the curse of the I name storm. We might be giving into the H name storm. So this could be the I name storm. We could definitely be getting into that second column of the row. At least a few more. But wow, look at the GFS ensembles. A lot of strong ensembles. I'm not liking that. We take a look at the 12Z, and yeah, definitely more into the Gulf of Mexico with the 18Z. If we take a look at the 6Z, even less. So definitely picking up in the ensembles lately with the GFS model with both systems. If we just take it out into 300 hours out, you can tell maybe a second low behind this. We're going to have to watch that, but wow. I'm not liking this signature here. A lot of Cat 3, Cat 4s on the ensemble, so we're really going to have to watch that. Once again, this is going to be the European ensembles, and very interesting. They do develop it more into central Gulf, maybe a little bit more weaker, still have some hurricane and tropical storm. Why does the European does not show the main model show that? It's because of how far the ensembles are spread out, even there. But one thing I will say, we are watching maybe, hey, we see another storm comes off the African coast. Maybe we do see something there. And we do see maybe the potential of the reborn of Gordon. So that is a lot of information thrown at you in this one. I've kind of covered mostly everything. One thing I will take a look at is the water temperatures itself, because that's going to be a very important thing. And, you know, the whole Caribbean is 30 degrees Celsius above. And once again, where this area of hatch of yellow, yeah, it is in 31, 32, even 30 degrees Celsius in possibilities here. So very, very warm waters. Honestly, hot, I would call the waters. So that is it with the models. One thing we can look at is that development of the Central American gyre with the satellite imagery, because we do that have that good information out of Tropical Tidbits from Lee I. Callan here. So we take a look at the Central American gyre, let this load, and one thing we noticed today is, yeah, we are starting to see that convection in the Caribbean pick up a bit, and I do expect this to continue to pick up, and I am a bit concerned about this area. We have seen in the past storms out of the Central American gyre become major hurricanes and absolutely devastate Florida or Louisiana usually. So that is a bit on the concerning side, what I don't like. But I did want to just make this video in general with the tropics and tell you guys the general thinking here. But one thing we are noticing is definitely, this is not even the thorough maximum, or this isn't not even the MJO kicking in yet, and we are definitely starting to see that Central American gyre kick in a bit, and we are going to watch this evolution throughout the next couple of days. But that should wrap it up. See you guys tomorrow. If you guys have any questions or concerns, leave them down in the comments below. Sorry for this late update. I did just wanted to get this to you guys soon as possible. But thank you guys for staying tuned to this point of the video. Please subscribe, like, and share this with other people. Thank you guys for all your support.